Well, here we go again. Going for it. 60 indicated. 65. Come on, come on. Now we're only getting about 68 this time. Yeah, always remember not to shut the throttle right down. Just shut it slowly and necessary, pull the clutch in and rev it a couple of times like that. Otherwise, oh, he's going too quick. Another straight coming up down here. Not sure whether to keep thrashing it or not. It's pretty good. It's taken about 1,500 miles actually to run this piston. I got it from Rex. Actually, I don't think I'll push it much further. I could just feel it dragging a bit. So no, I don't think I'll do another Spice-Me run. She must be running a little bit lean on the top end, I think, because that's yeah, can feel a little bit of retardation there. Oops. Just go along at 45, I suppose. I've got a K&N filter on this, you know, and I've done a plug chop at medium range, but I think on the very top end there, he's running a little bit lean. I mean, it could be fuel starvation. You start to feel that sort of slight dragging every now and again. And I'm thinking, is that the wings tightening up, or the piston tightening up, or is that fuel flow? But it can't. I don't think it's fuel flow because we've got a brand new tap on here and plenty of fuel in the tank. So, and then of course it comes down to, have they done the clearances correctly when they reboard it? Is it a bit tight? Because that'll always do it, especially with these iron bores. You've got an aluminium piston, if you give it a real good hard thrash, it's going to really expand quite a lot. And yeah, with the inevitable consequences. Actually, on this road I came upon a guy just down here actually. He had an RD 500 LC that had just been rebuilt, and he was in absolute distress because he thought it seized up. And I sort of kicked it over, put my fingers over the spark plug holes, and it puffed out, and it was fine. But it was only later that it occurred to me, you know, I mean, bores aren't meant to be round, I don't think, or pistons aren't meant to be round, and, you know, if you don't get the right clearance, you'll just absolutely seize it up. But, I mean, I've been riding Bantams now for, about 10 years, I suppose. And they still do things to surprise me. You know, I learn something new all the time. People say they're very simple and they'll run on paraffin. Yeah, well, okay. I haven't found that to be true, but I mean, my friend insists that he runs his on chainsaw oil, and I mean, he uses and abuses his. I mean, it's used the way a Bantam was meant to be used. It just sits outside and it gets thrashed down to the shop to get some bits because he works on cars, you know, and he comes back and that's it doesn't get any care and consideration at all. And yet his is faster than mine, you know, and I thought to myself, well, okay, how does that work then? So maybe we do have to thrash him, I don't know. This doesn't feel very happy at all. Not at all happy. I had the other engine in, the one that was actually in the bike when we went to New Zealand and that, and we had the B.S.A day up at Market Harbour or wherever it was. Oh, car coming. Bit hard to see down here. You got the sun coming from that direction. Everybody chooses silver cars. the state of the road down here. You caught that. This is the N4. This is where it comes down to junction 16 near Royal Wood and Bassett as it is now. Royal Wood and Bassett is only 5 miles from my home. And yet again I can feel retardation. It could be fuel flow. No, there's plenty of fuel in the fuel filter. Yeah. Not sure whether I should stop and there's two schools of thought. There are some that say it's best to keep going, lower res, but just keep going. And there are others that say you should stop to let the motor cool down is best. I think I'm in the keep going camp actually. 45 mile an hour wind in this temperature should be quite cool. I think I'll spend the rest of the time going home doing 45 miles an hour, I think. I mean, in the mid-range I've gone one notch up on the needle, you know, so the needle effectively goes up. That's allowed more fuel in the mid-range. But I haven't increased the main jet. It's still the standard, I think it's a 160. I always got the impression at full throttle that it always was a bit lean, even with the other engine. I mean, it was a different car then as well. I mean, this was a new replacement car. In fact, the other day, it's a weird thing with the B175s because recently they changed it. So the needle jet and the needle are actually 4-stroke needles, but it's got a 2-stroke spray tube. What the hell that's about, I don't know. But I was never really happy with carburation at all. I considered getting a Makuni off Rex Corn, see if that runs any better. But especially on the overrun, I don't know if anybody else gets this on a B175. If you throttle off and you're on a trailing throttle, maybe going down a descent, in fact particularly a descent, there's the M4, crossing the M4, yeah, particularly on a descent, it has a tendency to hunt and surge. Really annoying, I hate it, but the rest of the time it's very well. I mean, it prefers cooler weather for sure. Like I say, it's about 14 degrees. Looks like plenty of people out today on the bikes. In fact, is somebody giving free petrol away at the next petrol station or something? I've never seen so many bloody cars. Sundays. Ooh, I would not be overtaking there just before a blind bend. You know, they literally have a second or less to respond if both cars are doing 30, and that's if they're doing 30. I'm very lucky to live in a little village I live in. It's a little place called Purton, and lived there for 15 years now. Trouble is, just over the brow of the hill there, in fact I think I caught a glimpse of it, Swindon is just expanding and expanding. And now where my friends live, it's like 2 fields away. I mean, the way it's going, Purton will be just swallowed by Swindon, which will be a great shame. I mean, people make jokes about Swindon, don't they? Very sorry if you live in Swindon. It's just a joke, okay? I mean, we used to live there, but I used to go to work in London every day. Anyway, back to the subject of Bantams. So when we rode round New Zealand, we used to drive it sort of 40 miles an hour because my wife's got a D7, and really, I mean, her top speed is about 52. I mean, you can thrush it like that, but it just sounds horrible. I mean, so, you know, she was the slowest bike, so we had to go at that speed. So we sort of like 40, 45. And the bike's got hardly any sort of stress on them at all. Not in New Zealand anyway, but you know, when I looked at the crank, now I know a bit more about Bantams. On the crank, you know, the lands where the crank seal, it obviously had been laid up for a long time, and they're all pitted. And one of the symptoms was when the crank seal's leaking is if you say you're going this speed now, you're doing 50, and you give it a big handful, you know, just a great big handful now, it would actually bog down and it wouldn't seem to accelerate, but as you sort of came off the throttle, it would suddenly accelerate. And basically what it was, it just running so lean, because you give it a big handful, it's sucking all the air in through the crank seals, and that's how you know, one of the indicators. But it's also an indicator when your car's running, well, in the ammo book it says running rich. I can't see that myself, but there you go. Oh, sorry, no, running lean. And I thought, well, that's the opposite. But hey ho. Yeah, okay, so it stopped. It's stopped feeling tight now. I don't think I'll be repeating that in a hurry. So, yeah, that was fun. Just a little ride, my village, coming into. And we'll see how this goes. I'm using a remote mic because previously I used the mic on the camera, and it's just awful. If you've watched all my films beforehand, it's just horrible. You know, screeching thing. I mean, they probably could use my recordings of my from my camera as sort of torture techniques in Guantanamo Bay, you know. But gotta watch this roundabout. Nobody ever indicates, including me. Alright, go down a bit further. I hate those things. Bloody SUVs. I call it murder by mass, as in a huge great weight. If you're in a tiny car, I mean, I have kittens. My wife's got an MG, not only she got the Bsa Bantam and the D7, she's also got a 1967 MGB, and I mean, they're pretty low, you know, and all these big SUVs. I mean, if you get hit by one of those, I mean, it doesn't need, you're going to die, aren't you? I mean, and that's why I hate it with these great big SUVs. They drive like maniacs, and I really would like some better brakes on this bike. I mean, my wife the other day, I changed the brake cable, which unbelievably was an original brake cable, but she said, oh, my brakes are rubbish, and I said, well, yeah, they are. The road hers, and theirs were better than mine. There's the Angel pub. That's been there since 1845. In fact, this bit where we're going to here is the very, very most original part of the village, coming down and everything. Well, I'll end it there, because obviously the last thing you want to put on YouTube